Hey guys, today is part 2 of my little Rogue Legacy playthrough, and in today's little episode, I do have a lot of time and I want to say this right off the bat. There's going to be a lot of dead space in this video. If while I'm talking, I hopefully will get a few minutes of straight commentary, I guess I'll say, right away. And if while I'm talking you think this game interests you, feel free to watch. I will put little timestamps, I guess, down in the description, basically marking where each topic starts, I guess. Because for today's video, I do have 3 topics I want to talk about, I guess. First, basically I don't want to say review of Rogue Legacy or like an overview or anything like that, but basically what I think of the game, and not how to play, but just clearing up some aspects of the game. So I won't really talk too much about that right now. Basically, whenever something pops up that I want to explain, I'll basically cut whatever I'm talking about and just commentate then about it, if that makes any sense. You'll see as the video goes on. Second, I also want to ask you guys a question. I'm not sure how many of you use this program called Fraps, but if you look at this video and if you look at the first Rogue Legacy video I did, the speeds might not be the same, and like I said with the vampire montage, if you watch that, I asked about how the clip speed was and all that, and if you watch the if you watch the deck profile, the clip speed is very fast. And the reason that is because what Fraps does, or at least for my computer, I'm sure it's fine on other computers, if your computer is powerful enough to run it, it slows the clip speed down a lot. Basically, whenever I'm just going back to Dev Pro, because I know that number by now, instead of capturing in 60 frames per second, which would be normal speed, it captures it in about like 20-25. So then I have to manually speed it up later in my editing program. So sometimes it might come off a little too fast, sometimes it might be a little too slow, and sometimes the clip speeds might not match up because, again, I'm doing it manually by eye, and I can't really. Well, yeah, that's pretty much that. And the next thing I want to talk about, I'll get more into Fraps in a second later on, I guess. But the one thing I do want to talk about, right now is like an upload schedule, I guess. I do have a very, very rough copy right in front of me, but if I'm looking at that, it only has 4 more videos, not including this one, set up for this month of December. And the reason, I'm not only going to be uploading those 4 videos, it's just that I want to have a standard, I guess I'll say. I need to put out those videos on those days just to kind of keep myself involved, I guess. So that way I don't lose interest. If I keep to this schedule, even though it is basically a bare minimum, I'll at least be able to, stay involved, I guess I'll say. I won't just kind of put it off to the side. And the reason I only have 4 videos, slated right now is because I think I mentioned it before. I am in college. I have finals coming up, and it's just probably not the best idea to be uploading videos, but I kind of am anyway. So yeah, those 4 videos are going to be put out regardless. I do have the day set up, but you guys, if you stick around, you'll see those videos when they get put up and what they are exactly. But things like this, things like the Rogue Legacy game, and things like I am starting a new playthrough. I'll probably talk about it in a sec, to be honest. So if there's ever a time where I have gameplay footage saved up and I want to do a commentary, or with the other gameplay I'm trying to live comment, even though there's no real guarantee on that. And what I mean by that is I will commentate it as I'm playing, but if there's ever just a large gap of me just not saying anything, or me just not saying anything interesting, which I guess is a lot of anyway. So yeah, if there's ever just a long period of time where it's just either boring to watch or there's nothing for me really to talk over, I guess I am going to strip the audio. You won't hear me talking during the game, but I'll commentate it over later with something. I don't really know what exactly. And I mean, since I'm on the topic already, I guess I will just say it. The playthrough I'm going to start, or I guess the playthrough I already started playing, I just need to start uploading it, is of a Pokemon Emerald randomized Nuzlocke. I think that's the best way to put it. It's something that I've done a few times in the past, and this time it's a little different because well, I mean, I get into it in the video, so I guess I'll just put it off till then. Anyway, I don't want to say too much about it, just know that there is one Pokemon who is now on my shit list. I never had a problem with it before, but just shit happens, I guess. Anyway, that's it for now, so I'm going to let the gameplay play out. Again, if you want to just skip ahead to the next commentary part, I guess I'll say, there's a timestamp down below to skip to the next part, whenever that is. Okay, so what this room is, it is I guess I'll call it a random room. It is signified, or it is marked on the map with a purple circle, or purple pinkish, I guess, with a question mark in it. Basically, the things that spawn in there are, I guess you could say they help you. There is the shrine, which is what I found, which basically recovers health and mana or magic, whatever the proper term is, I guess. There can be a jukebox, which is just allows you to play different music throughout the different music from the game, which is actually basically all the background music that's going to be used for this playthrough, just the tracks from the OST or original soundtrack. Trying to be fancy. Anyway, they're just going to be songs from the original soundtrack. Or there could be things like different magic upgrades. There can be special items, which honestly I haven't played this game in a while, so I'm not completely sure what the items do or what they are, to be completely honest. But if you notice, next to my little blade, I guess the little circle blade, there's an empty square. That is where the item would go. And again, the items I believe are supposed to help you. Sometimes they might not, like there are some abilities that don't help you, they actually hinder you. So I think the items are all good, but again, it has been a while since I played this. So what this room is, it's basically a transition room, I guess I'll call it. It's basically the room between one area of the map and another area. What I just did there was I got on a teleporter, which basically will bring you to any other teleporter in the game. And I guess I have to kind of explain both those things. First, what I broke was a statue. There are statues throughout the game at teleporters and at boss rooms, which is obviously a boss, I guess. Well, it is a boss, and I guess it's obvious is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, the left ones always have health, the right ones always have mana. So that's just something neat to know, or a nifty little trick to know if you aren't the best at this game like myself, because obviously, as you just see, as you can see, I just kind of died to a boss. Anyway, get him later. Also, right here we have classes. Each time you die, you pick your heir, as it says, and each class has their own like little traits, I guess I'll say. Well, yeah, they have their own traits. Like as you can see here, it is kind of vintage. Like this isn't any editing, it's just completely vintage, like filter, I guess. What's going on here is I'm using the money I got from my previous run to buy a few things. First, what you just saw me buy were things called ruins. Those are basically things that give you new abilities, like their double jump, dash, vampire runes, which will basically replenish health. And what I just did there, and I do want to say I'm sorry for being behind on all this, but what I just did there, or what I tried to do, I guess, was I talked to the blacksmith. What he does is he'll give you new swords, new armor, I guess, and basically all those things will increase your strength, defense, magic somehow, health, and all that good stuff. So looking back over this video, there is a lot of dead space in this little area, so I'm going to fill it up with basically my opinion of the game. Just bottom line is I really do enjoy this game. As soon as finals are over, expect a lot of this, and by a lot I just mean it'll be over in a few days. Like I'm going to play this game until I beat it the first time through. And just to touch on that, I mentioned in the last game, you never really beat this game, and you really don't, because every time you do beat it, there's New Game Plus, which basically the enemies are harder, and it's just, it goes on forever. One thing I really do like about this game and other games like it, I know that there's a genre of game, I think it might actually be called rogue games, but don't quote me on that, I'm not too sure. But I do like it because every time you die, you get to come back with more or less the same stuff. You know, like off the top of my head, it's this and the Pokemon Explorers of whatever series. You know, that whole Explorer series, where basically if you die, you have to come back in the castle in this case, and there's more to the map. And in the Explorer series, it's dungeons, and basically they're randomized each time. Those games just kind of click for me. I don't really know why, but they're just really addicting. These guys are more or less secret bosses, or at least I consider them secret bosses. I just see them as stronger versions of enemies you fight throughout the game. They do drop things if you beat them, so they are definitely worth staying in the room and trying to fight it out. So I kind of mentioned it already, but if anyone watching this has any experience with Fraps or I guess video recording software, and they don't have the most powerful computer, let me know how that works. Let me know if there's a way I can speed up Fraps. Maybe there's like a trick that, I don't know, helps speed up the frame rate, because it's not the worst thing in the world, but it is, I don't know, like I would rather be commentating over this live, because at least that way, I can have sorry. At least that way I can have consistent, like I can have flow, I guess. Like when I sit down and do commentaries like this, it's kind of, if I don't have like an actual topic to carry me through the entire thing, it's going to be a little hard to listen to, I think, anyway. And it's just going to be, well, kind of like this, broken up, and it's not completely unorganized, but it's definitely not as organized as it could or should be. And live commentaries, I'm not trying to say that I'm talking for the whole thing, but at least it is in game, and at least I am usually talking to myself, so that might not be the most interesting thing to listen to, but at least there is something there instead of this dead air or forced commentary, I guess I'll say. The room I just entered and just left, I guess, is a fairy chest room. Basically, there will be a challenge, and I already went into 2 before, I believe. And basically, if you complete the challenge, get to the very end, get to the chest, they will give you a ruin, I believe. So basically, they give you an ability that you can upgrade or you can add on to your character later on. Sometimes the challenges aren't too hard, but sometimes, like in this challenge, or rather the one I just passed up, I believe it was don't take any damage, and you had to go through a very long spike floor to get to the chest. So really, it's your call whether you want to, or whether you think it's worth it or not. So here we are at the boss fight again. It's really not that hard. Well, I'm not gonna say most of the bosses aren't hard, but all the bosses have like a specific pattern, or at least if I remember this game, like I think I do. Most bosses do, or all the bosses do. And this guy is, he's really not that difficult. The only reason that I was having trouble before is because, well, it's not the only reason, but I didn't have the whole double jump thing, which I do have now. And if you look back, every time I fought this guy, I always, or I guess I usually died, or the first time I died was because I couldn't completely jump over the top of his eye, and the second time I fought him, I took a lot of damage because I couldn't jump over the top of the eye. And in this fight, I don't really need it at all, so I guess I am just kind of talking out my ass. But you know, there it is, boss defeated, and lots of gold. The video does end here, or in a second, I guess. Before I actually get any leveling up done, that'll be in the next one. I kind of wanted to explain it, but there is really no video to go off of, so that'll be next time. Anyway, later guys.